Sustainable Sundays is trying to make sustainability easy, accessible, and fun for everyone. No matter what your interest is, there's always a Sustainable Sunday event for you. And the main motive is that online, whatever lectures or whatever you do, it doesn't has as much impact as if you gather people offline and do something, because that
Yeah.
will have more impact. At some point of time, you should realize that it's not just the government, it has to be a mutual effort.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sustainably Curious. I'm Pramod, your host, and this is a podcast, as the name suggests, discussions with folks who are doing things currently to help others live a more sustainable life. This is, I'm restarting the podcast again after a few weeks, but I'm super stoked to have Anjali as my next guest. Was fortunate to meet her and discover her initiative, Sustainable Sundays, back in June, and I got a chance to volunteer for a couple of months back then, and completely amazed at how it started, and got to experience this. Anjali, great to have you on the podcast. Why don't you introduce yourselves and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so I am Anjali, and a bit about me, I'm native from Jharkhand. I've grown up in Delhi and I moved to Bangalore for work. Yeah, so it can talk about why I chose my journey in sustainability. So the thing is, I always used to do a lot of research because I had a lot of time, because starting new job and being in college, you have a lot of time to scroll on internet. So I used to watch videos where they would talk about fast fashion and all. And I was like, okay, this doesn't seem nice. And the funny thing is, like, being from Delhi, and Delhi, you might know the market, Sarojini
Yeah.
Market, which is a very huge clothing market. And you get clothes very in dirt cheap prices. So that was a shift for me. I could understand that industry is eventually impacting in a very negative way. So for me to from coming from a overconsumption into of fashion background and then shifting to conscious consumption in fashion was a huge deal. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Got it. Amazing journey. And you founded Sustainable Sundays, right? I think it was around April or so. I'm curious to know what led you to start Sustainable Sundays as a concept. Maybe there were a few things that you were exploring before that as well. So walk me through the journey of what led to the initial days of Sustainable Sundays. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to do something in sustainability field for a long time. I couldn't figure out what exactly, but I just wanted to explore. I joined a program of climate leadership program by Sustera, and in that it was a hybrid program, 2 months online, and there was one small 2 day offline workshop. And there, in that, they had asked that workshop was really helpful in defining what I wanted to do, and they encouraged all the participants to take up some projects.
Mhm.
And I wanted to do something, but again my idea was I wanted to do something offline which would have a lot of impact, but every challenge which I wanted to solve would require a lot of government intervention.
Mm.
So I thought, like, what is the easiest thing I can do, because I also don't want to like burn myself out or find
Mhm.
something so difficult to start that it never starts. So I
Yeah.
thought, why not do a community initiative?
Mhm.
And this was also inspired by other community initiative. I think there's Dr. Sanjeevani Sharma from Kanpur who
Mhm.
runs Kanpur Ploggers,
Got it.
and she does plogging every Sunday in Ganga Ghat there. And I was like really inspired by it because it's a good way for people to come and connect. And that's how I started this initiative, Sustainable Sundays. And the main motive is that online, whatever lectures or whatever you do, it doesn't has as much impact as if you gather people offline and
Mhm.
do something, because that
Yeah.
will have more impact. So that was the whole idea behind it. And I thought I'll not limit it to just one activity, because in a singular type of activity, only a particular type of crowd will come. So I wanted to expand it to multiple activities so that we can cover more ground. So that's how Sustainable Sunday started basically.
Got it. Amazing. And was this back in April of this year?
Yeah, so my climate leadership program got over by Feb end, March first week.
Correct.
And then the idea just started, and basic groundwork was laid down in March and April, sort of. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and you were doing all of this part time, basically in your free time, essentially,
Yeah.
like, and it's volunteer based. So I think all the more challenging to go from 0 to 1. So how
Hmm.
were the initial days, or like, what was your experience like? Any anecdotes from that?
So on paper, it doesn't sound that difficult. Like you are just gathering few people and you are meeting offline. But I think when I first started to actually execute everything that was required, like even though we are tackling getting people offline, we need online presence, doing all the social media promotions, registrations, then promoting it on different WhatsApp channels, making posters, and then you need to coordinate with everyone because it's your first event. You don't know how many people would turn
Mm,
out. All those things were like eventually it took a lot of time for
mm,
only me to figure out, because at that point of time, since it was my idea and I also was sort of discovering, it's not, I couldn't even delegate to someone, and figuring out that, plus getting the permissions and all, talking to people who are already doing some similar sort of thing and understanding what are the challenges and how easily or what were the difficulties they were facing.
yeah.
So in that way, it was like bit challenging, and I think initially I had a lot of energy because initially everyone has a lot of energy. So I did literally everything, and I could feel like okay, it's okay, like I can do it for a long time. But after a few weeks, I realized that okay, this might not work out if I'm doing everything alone. So I need to get more volunteers, and yeah, that's where I met a lot of people. You also joined as a volunteer,
Yeah.
and that was a huge help. But yeah, that was the start of
Got
sustainable.
it. And so for folks who don't know Sustainable Sundays, right? What if you had to explain what it is all about? Yeah, like go ahead and tell us about what Sustainable Sundays does. Yeah.
So Sustainable Sundays is trying to make sustainability easy, accessible, and fun for everyone. So our tagline is, no matter what your interest is, there's always a Sustainable Sunday event for you. And here we want to give people on ground experience of sustainability, but we don't want it to become too overwhelming or
Yeah.
something they won't be able to start. So we want to make it accessible and easy to digest for people. So that's why our events like Plogging, you are just experiencing how, first of all, what kind of waste is generated on a day to day basis. You
Mhm.
will learn about cleanliness of public spaces. You will learn about how waste pickers, what are the challenges they face while cleaning up a public space.
Yeah.
And also, you will learn about how to properly dispose of waste. Now, at the end of the event, there's no obligation for you to suddenly do everything perfect, but you can take something from that event and
Mhm.
eventually implement in your life. Similarly, we have other events as well. We have gardening and kitchen garden workshop where we encourage people to get back to the connection with soil and grow something, anything. They don't have to like be 100% independent from the market, but at least even if you grow your own coriander or whatever mint, that
Mhm.
will still, you're still connected to that food. So that was important.
Yeah.
Similarly, we have a lot of events. We have yoga workshops because health and sustainability is also interrelated.
Yeah.
Then we have music shows. So yeah, so that's the list
Got it.
for, yeah.
That's quite a lot covered, I think, in a short duration since you started. Amazing accomplishment on the journey. Question for you: like, what's the scale of Sustainable Sundays today? Like in terms of the number of you mentioned some of these activities, right? Like, but like, where are you today in terms of number of volunteers or number of events, blogging done so far, and so on? Yeah.
So I think April and May we used to do like maybe one event or two events per
Yeah.
month, but after that we have like scaled up to multiple events every month. So Plogging, I think we are doing it every Sunday, and now we are doing it two different locations. So it's Kaban and Alsur.
Hmm.
And then we have other activities which is sort of a like a one-off case. So every maybe once in a month We are planning to do music events. Then we have grow your own food workshop, which we are trying to do once in a month.
Yeah.
And yoga, we are doing it every Sunday
Hmm.
till Diwali, I think. So
Hmm.
yeah, now it's scaled up, like you can say, like maybe 6 events, 6 to 7
Wow.
events every month.
Awesome.
That's our average. And in terms of volunteers, we have I think we have good amount of people, like 10 to 12 active volunteers, and we are looking to expand. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. And taking one step back, you initially said that the intention of Sustainable Sundays was to make it fun and easy for people to take action, like on a weekly basis. So, from your experience of even before Sustainable Sundays and then after starting it, right?
Hmm.
Why do you think it is hard for people to take action or get involved? What's been your insights on what are the challenges, and how have you seen Sustainable Sundays kind of initiatives help
Hmm.
overcome those things as well? Yeah.
So what I've seen is some people genuinely want to do their own part, or however way they want to be sustainable, and they are very enthusiastic about it. But the thing is, they don't have the right knowledge and tools,
Mhm.
or they don't know where to start. So Sustainable Sundays is like it bridges that gap and helps people to get started, at least give them some footing, some baseline, like sustainability tips, or introduce them to eco-friendly swaps of existing products. So for that crowd, I think a platform like Sustainable Sundays does wonders.
Mhm.
Secondly, I think there are people who have no idea about sustainability.
Mhm.
For them, so why would they come into a sustainable event? So that's where we try to um, like mix already existing hobbies with sustainability. So for example, yoga.
Yeah.
So our yoga event happens at Swachhagrah Kalika Kendra, which is like a waste management learning center, but it's also a BBMP park. So
Mhm.
there we got people on yoga day, and now we are having recurring yoga sessions. So we got people there, they did yoga, but then after the session we nudged them to explain them more about waste management, sustainability
Mhm.
and all. And they also understood that eventually your health and sustainability is related. So for those crowd who have no idea about it, still we are trying to give them some platform by going into their own existing interest and then converting them into sustainable citizens. Yeah.
Got it. No, I think that's amazing. And like you're choosing things which are not too difficult for people to commit to, and probably they already do it in some way, right? Like, on a Sunday, people want to explore, something like that's out of the ordinary. They may want, like, there are people who are enthusiastic about fitness, and then
Mhm.
you're sort of clubbing that with a sustainability angle to it, right? So just double clicking on that aspect, you initially started with blogging and then you added yoga, there's now music. So how do you go about deciding that these are the kind of events, or like is there a framework that you use that, okay, like, this is probably like, you have a grow your food workshop and so on. So what's the thinking behind, okay, these are the activities that make sense to, like, pick and introduce into Sustainable Sundays?
So as of now, I don't have any framework, but I have like a rough idea of kind of events where people would want to come.
Hmm.
So I go out like that, like an event where people would anyway want to show up, whether it's related to sustainability or not. So
Yeah.
for example, in Kaban Park, people are already walking. Like they
Mm.
want to come to park in the morning and just walk around and just be in nature. So that's how we want to club it with plogging, because you're just
Mhm.
walking and picking up trash. Same goes to, I think, music events as well, because people want a jamming session.
Mm.
But now we are collaborating with artists and musicians who are already into sustainability.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the session, we are giving them some tips, and also from asking them to come to our other events to
Yeah.
get more feel of sustainability. And also we are choosing venues which are sort of conscious venues, or like maybe it's a vegan cafe, or cafe who serve healthy food, or venues who already are into like yoga, meditation.
Hmm.
there's consciousness in that place. I'm not saying that eventually we might have a pub event as well, but yeah, for now we are trying to collaborate with venues who align with our values, right?
Got it. Awesome. Maybe for the listeners to get a sense of what happens in the event, could you give a glimpse of, let's say the latest music event, like what was it about, or even like blogging? What do people actually experience there?
So on the music event, so it happened in Cafe de Verde in Kormangla, and it was hosted by like the musicians were Hardik, Pratham, and Nikhil.
Mhm.
It was a jamming session, and it was Bathak plus jam, and we had we like it was mostly ghazal and Sufi and old
Mhm.
songs. So people, we had a crowd of around 35, 40 folks,
Nice. Yeah.
and it was a nice jamming session because people could sing along. People, we also gave them their own instruments, DIY instruments, shakers and all, which they can play and enjoy the music. So it was not just passive listening, but you can be like play and add to the music. So yeah, that was one sort of thing, and it's not like we are overwhelming people or
Mhm.
giving them lectures about sustainability. At the end of the event, for 5 minutes we told them that why we are doing this, what's the like rationale behind it, and that's it. I don't like, I personally don't want to overwhelm people or make everything into a lecture, so
Mhm.
I tried to avoid it. And people were like really happy. Like many of the crowd who were there, they were already into sustainability, so that was a good thing. But
Yeah.
there were many new folks as well, so it was a good mix of crowd. And then about plogging is quite simple. I mean, in Kaban Park, who doesn't like to go to in the morning in Kaban?
Mhm.
It's like too pleasant. And people, we just give you gloves and a garbage sack, and you can just walk around in groups and just pick up trash. So it's pretty straightforward, but like many people have like they find it very enlightening, like the sort of waste we find during the
Mhm.
plog. Pan packets and all those small small packets are something which one would anticipate, but we have found like random waste. Like we have found diapers thrown around, which was weird.
Wow.
We have found footwear, like I don't know who leaves there. We have found like proper, I don't know, whiskey glasses kept. I think we might have, someone would have hidden it, and we just thought it was trash and took it with us. But yeah, we have found all kind of things, and it also helps people to connect with their city. So then everyone who comes at Kaban Park, no one wants it to be like unmaintained or
Yeah.
like unmaintained and dirty. So it helps them feel good also that they are contributing in whatever way they can to maintain that place.
Mhm.
So that really helps.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I think personally, like having taken part in some of the blogs, I took away a lot of insights. And like you mentioned, also surprised that a lot of the waste that is thrown around there. One interesting thing that I really liked about the approach was always like, we do it in coordination with the officials, right? Like, so what's been your sort of experience with working with, let's say, the BPMP was, what was it called earlier? I think
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
changed it now. But how has it been? Because there's a lot of negative perception around it, and but then our experience was different. So yeah, I'm curious to know your take on the role of folks like at BBMP and also like citizens and how things can be done together. Yeah.
So I am one of those people who will always blame the government for everything. But at some point of time, you should realize that it's not just the government. It
Hmm.
has to be a mutual effort. So my experience with BBMP was not what I had expected, because it's bit difficult to navigate through the system. But once
Yeah.
you find the right folks, they are very helpful. They will
Mhm.
tell you that this is how this is done or whatever, they'll guide you, and they're very supportive. So BBMP Shivaji Nagar, I took permissions from their office, and they were like eager to, apart from plogging, they were also eager to listen to other ideas on how we can beautify or maintain that particular area. So my experience has been good. They were supportive, and I understand that some, like my experience is not universal and some might have had negative experience and all. But yeah, but I definitely think like government officials are not evil, and they genuinely want to help, but yeah, they have their own limitations sometimes.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, overall my experience was very good, and it anyway, it always has to be a collaboration between citizens and the government. It's never an isolated thing, and we are not each other's enemies anyway.
Yeah. Likewise, I think like for the Alsur Lake one, when I'd gone, like I was pleasantly surprised with how helpful the folks at BVMP were. And I think, yeah, like while we should obviously hold them to a standard, I think like, we should also offer to help them out, and they definitely need help given the scale of like,
Yeah.
the city and the number of people they have on the team. So a couple more questions around this, like, the experience itself. So you've done a bunch of events now, like, 6 7 events a month.
Mm.
What are some interesting feedback, and like I know I shared my experience, but any interesting funny anecdotes of what you've heard from people either at Plogging or the music event that has stayed with you?
Okay, that's a difficult question. I don't know if there's anything funny to share, but the one good thing is that we have found people who are really interested to, pursue this. Like people have come to me and they said that they want to help. Like I would like give shout out to Bhavesh, who was the
Mhm.
very first volunteer,
Yeah.
and he really helped me during the initial stages. And yeah, he was present all the time. These days, he doesn't also get time, but yeah, I think that's one good thing. And these days we have few more people who are like regular to the event. They will come
Mhm.
and help. So I think that's very heartwarming as well to see people doing things out without any expectations. And so I think that's a very good thing. Otherwise, I can't recall anything as such. But yeah, it's good to see like uh, people coming together in community. And like since I've started, I've also been contacted by other organizations, local Bangalore organizations, who would say that they want to collaborate in some kind of event to promote the whole cause of sustainability. So I think that was also very nice to see like people coming together and doing things for the betterment of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's one experience,
Got
new,
it.
unique for me.
Yeah. And you said that you're looking to expand as well. So, like, in terms of things you need help on right now, or for folks who are interested, what are some areas where you need more volunteers, or like, what can people expect to, do once they join Sustainable Sundays? Yeah.
So mainly there are roles of event management. So
Mhm.
since we have all kinds of events, so you one can find a variety of work they would want to do. So event management, basically crowd interaction, keeping people engaged, is one aspect during event management. Then there's the back end work of planning, because you cannot have like 6 7 events every month without planning, or just have them on the go. So we want to plan ahead for at least a quarter, so
Mhm.
people can also volunteer for that. And just the back end logistics of the event can be handled. And then there's always social media, because eventually we can only grow if we have more people seeing that these kind of events are happening in Bangalore. And we always need people to help us in social media and make some viral reels and all. So yeah, I think these three are the
Got it.
major work areas.
Yeah. Awesome. And I know like we're trying to figure out running these workshops at, like, let's say our society here. And are you thinking of running such workshops across Bangalore, or like, what is the thought process around doing events at like societies? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea, because I understand commute in Bangalore is horrible, and
Mhm.
people don't want to leave their homes unless they're like required. Or so the idea behind doing the workshops at these apartment levels is that, first of all, it would be very accessible for people to come, just wake up and just come to the workshop. They don't have to commute. Plus, I think like this is more on the longer term, but if we can educate the upper middle class of the society of
Mhm.
the whole concept of sustainability, climate change, why is it important? I think because they are are the drivers of the consumer decisions, and the economy is running because of their buying
Mhm.
power. So I think they have a lot of influence. If we can have a shift from a consumer perspective and they can help drive that change, then obviously the companies would also listen. So that's another way to look at it, that why I want to target especially those, that sort of crowd.
And on that note, what does sustainable Sundays look like for you maybe a year down the line?
So it's still at a very early stage,
Yeah.
but I don't want to like shut the initiative down because it has gained good amount of
Yeah.
momentum, and I know that this is scalable and people would join. Like in Bangalore, what I've seen, that people do want some sort of online offline events.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if you heard, there was like a grocery rave party.
Was okay. I'm not.
So there are like some weird events happening. So why not have like a more conscious event? So
What was this event, by the way? I've not
I
come
think it
across it.
was in food hall. Yeah. So it was like a grocery and DJ and I don't know, something similar.
Got it. Yeah.
So yeah, so there are people who are
Yeah.
interested in
Got it.
sustainability sort of events as well.
Mhm.
And eventually it's not like these events are very exclusive. It's not too niche. Like
Yeah.
our events are very generalized. So and it also gives an avenue for people to step out of their comfort zone, meet new people and just interact, because Bangalore, lot of people are not, yeah, migrants, and like they are from other cities, so we are all, it's better to have some avenues to connect with new people. So I think that that's a role which Sustainable Sundays also plays. It's like a
Yeah.
space to meet new people.
I can say or plus one to that, that's one of the great things, like at least from the plogging initiatives that I was part of. It was great to meet people from different walks of life. I know, uh, I think Suraj was from a cycling. He was part of cycling community, and meeting Shreya and bunch of other folks. So it's always great to meet. I think not just for young people, like for folks, like it's harder to make new friends when we are older. I think it's good to. I see community as a great way to bring people together and doing it in a meaningful way, which also contributes or adds or
Mm-hmm.
makes things better. I think is a initiative that should only grow, right? So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully a year or two down the line, there are a lot more events across Bangalore,
Yeah.
that we can just participate every Sunday.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. So I know you, for example, now you have a team of volunteers and all, but initially you were largely pulling this on your own and maybe one or two more folks
Mm.
would join, right? But what helped Sustainable Sundays grow initially, in terms of finding both volunteers and participants? Like what worked? Was it just online or, friends, word of mouth? For anyone thinking of starting an
Mm.
initiative like this, what was your journey like for them? Yeah.
I think initially you have to do like everything and you have to be prepared for it. And you have to also commit to a timeline. Like you can't stretch it like maybe I'll
Yeah.
do it maybe later or whatever. You just have to commit to it and somehow just do it.
Hmm.
And once you have like initial like response, like you have maybe 10 to 50 people show up to an event, whatever,
Hmm.
then you can ask those people only to volunteer, because if they have come there then they might be interested in some way. So that helped, like most of our volunteers are people who already came to our event.
Yeah.
So that's a way to maintain. And yeah, starting off, it's like you have to give yourself some timeline, like
Mhm.
for next 3 months or 6 months, I don't care if I get results or not, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And if it works out, works out. Otherwise, okay, it's fine. 6 months, not a big deal.
Mhm. Yeah. No, and you mentioned you had folks who wanted to partner as well. You also mentioned like Sustera,
Mm.
you're part of. So, what's the ecosystem like for community like Sustainable Sundays to get started and also grow? What has been your experience in terms of people coming, like brands coming to help you, and like go from where you are?
So I think sustainability, the community is very, it's everyone knows everyone in this community. I
Mhm.
have realized because when I go to a event, I see, okay, I already know you. So I think
Mm.
it's you would already know a lot of people, and it's good because it's very, welcoming community, because we our end aim is to help the planet and to stop climate change. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's very, people are very welcoming. So you can always partner with anyone who is doing something similar. They are very open to doing it, and we, because eventually we want to get more people into the whole ecosystem.
Mm.
So on that front, I think all organizations whom I have spoken to, they were very supportive. Even regarding brands and all, they are very supportive. If you reach out, you have a proper plan of what you are trying to do. They are also very understanding, because all of us have similar value system and similar
Mhm.
mindset. So that really helps. And we also know that there are not many people who think like us. So when we find someone who have similar mindset, then we already have a base, very good level of trust established.
Yeah.
That also helps with during when we are working together.
Shifting gears to a more personal level, like, what are some sustainable habits that you sort of inculcate, or have learned from others that you want to give a shout out to?
So I think a lot of my sustainable habits are learned by watching other people,
Mhm.
especially the influencers, because a lot of things which we do, like it's not like it has to be very local to India, Indian context. So some of the accounts like Nana from Bangalore, she used to post a lot of sustainability hacks. And I think few like very basics are like carrying your own water bottle.
Yeah.
If you are going out, then just carry a lunch box or some sort of
Mm.
thing.
Mhm.
If you are, if you want to buy, instead of going to a restaurant and having takeaway in their own plastic packaging, you can take your own box and ask them to pack. It saves
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
packaging charges as well, and it is healthier because hot food and plastic is not a good idea.
Mhm.
And these are some few things. And also, like, these currently a lot of sustainable influencers are telling us to cut down the quick commerce usage, so that has also reduced for me as compared to earlier. So I think those are few things which I am trying to do. Currently I am just trying to manage my food waste, because
Mhm.
it's difficult to manage because you sometimes
Yeah.
order a lot of things and it just, you forget to cook or whatever. So
Mhm.
yeah, right now my challenge is to just cut down food waste and obviously cut down my quick commerce usage.
Got it. So, how are you going about doing both of them? Like,
So compost I already do, but
mm,
sometimes I throw like a lot of food in compost, which I find
mhm,
very not nice.
mhm,
So I'm trying to cook less, rather
mhm.
than in the end it's ending up in the bin. So managing the cooking and rationing that part.
Yeah.
And then groceries, obviously I try to buy whenever I go out, I have a bag and all. So
Mhm.
I know, like, I will buy. I don't have like specially go out to buy vegetables and all, but I know if I'm coming from gym, then I'll take the route where
Yeah.
I can find vendors and then I'll buy.
Got it.
So yeah, that's how it is, because I also don't want to increase my own effort,
Yeah.
because that doesn't make any sense. So I'm trying to cut down effort and at the same time trying to be sustainable.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I think from a lot of folks who volunteered or even attended the blogs, I think there's, in general, I see like folks want to take like the metro, public transport, like rather than, go in a vehicle. And I've noticed like most folks like carry their water bottles. And I think we also spread that awareness through these blogging initiatives. Like, there was this one or two blogs where people shared their sustainable habits. I think it was great to just learn from each other some of these things and incorporate in our own lives as well. Yeah. This was a great conversation, Anjali. I'm so glad that we got a chance to speak. It was long pending. Any final words for folks who are listening, like, whether from a volunteering or like, if you'd like to get them to join Sustainable Sundays, any of the blogs, anything you'd like to say to them? Yeah.
I'll first of all invite all the listeners to Sustainable Sundays activity. Do follow us on Instagram at the rate sustainable underscore Sundays underscore Bangalore. But secondly, even if you are like not interested in sustainability or don't want to like come offline for it, just educate yourself and don't think it as a, that you have to be 100% sustainable. Take it as like whatever, a single habit change, or even if it's not a habit change, a single time you are adopting a sustainable habit is appreciated and welcomed. It's not like it's too small or whatever. So be of that mindset that you are always learning about this topic and also trying to do your best, but not like punishing yourself or thinking, okay, I'm not perfect, so why do I have to do this? It's not going to help, because every small habit or effort eventually adds up.
Amazing. Yeah. No, I highly recommend attending any of the Sunday events or even the music event. By the way, like, are there any upcoming events that you are planning out, either music or blogging or anything else?
So, so Plogging, it's happening every Sunday
Yeah.
at Kab.
Okay.
And music event, we have one planned for 12th of October. So these are the two events which are planned.
Got it. Awesome. Cool. Thanks so much, Anjali. Great having you on Sustainably Curious, and all the best. Looking forward to seeing Sustainable Sundays grow even more. Yeah.
Thank you, Pramod. Thank you.